Rally the troops, it's time to fight some undead. So the Legion of Steel is Mammoth Factory's sixth and final campaign, and it looks absolutely awesome. Full disclosure, Mammoth Factory Games sponsored this video, and they kindly sent me over all the STLs so I could print them off, test them out, and let you know my thoughts. So when they announced that they were doing this set, I was pretty much all over the place and had a bit of a crisis. The premise is that doom has come to the ancient city of Merillium. The Ferrovex, a ravenous and metallic infection that puppeteers and reshapes the flesh of the dead, has assembled a vast horde of undead abominations and seeks to tear down the city. Merillium must be defended lest every soul within fall prey to the Legion of Steel. So that's the adventure in a nutshell, but what about the minis? Well, you get a whole host of them. And when I say host, I really mean horde, and I've had a lot of fun with these minis. I'd say the overall general theme of all of these minis feels very Resident Evil, and I know that seems like, obviously there's zombies there, but I don't necessarily mean the zombies. I mean all like the mutations and abominations and the kind of like, just all of it. It looks so much like it's been inspired by something like Resident Evil. The great thing about all that zombie units and stuff like that is they're just standard zombies, and they save all the random quirky stuff that's really, really horror inspired for the other types of units. So yeah, I really like the themes that they've got going through this, all the different variation that they've got going as well. There's a whole lot of stuff to like. So included in this set, you're going to get 2 of these Bone Colossus. They look really awesome. They're just these big, like exoskeleton type creatures with like blade hands. They look really, really interesting. Next up, you're gonna get these 6 Ferrovex drones as well, and they almost look like something that's transformed from the zombies. They've got claws, they've almost got the brains on the head, kind of like a Licker from Resident Evil, just it's more upright. Really like the look of those. You get Gondol the Undying, which is this incredible zombie dragon. And if you played the previous set, we've got Gondol the Living, you know, before he's undying. So again, they've got that interconnection between the different adventures if you want to have that, and you've taken your players on a really, really interesting, lengthy campaign. Next up, you get 3 of these hunter-killer drones, which are these like dog-like zombie creatures. They've got all these kind of spines coming off of them. They've got these blade-like tails. They look really interesting. And then, of course, you get my favourites. You get the 6 Restless Corpse, which basically are zombies. My personal favourite is the one that looks like he's just stepped on a Lego. And he's doing this like, oh, ow, that hurts, type thing. But yeah, they all look really interesting. And you get 6 of them, but as you can probably tell from this video, I've got 20 of them. And the great thing about this set is the zombies are posed in such a way that you can print off a horde and not worry about too many duplications or just looking stupid. So if you're into the more wargaming side of things and your D&D, you can print off a lot of these things without them looking stupid. Next up, you get these Templars of Ruin, and I really like these. There's 3 of them. They're basically, by the sounds of it, something that's been transformed. Maybe they were one of the good guys, maybe one of the knights or the heroes, and they have well and truly had it. There's this one here that looks a little bit like Anakin Skywalker. I don't know why, it inspires me of that. But yeah, he looks really, really gruesome and very menacing. And you've got this one here with like the turkey waddle. I really like him. He just looks so different. And that's what I like about these is they're not just all the same sort of thing, just posed differently. They've got their own unique bits on there, which looks really cool. And finally, you get the Village, which is this beastie. And I like almost everything about this. Basically, he's this big like Colossus monster thing with big monster claws. He's got all this horrible flesh kind of come off him. He's got all the dead villagers like melting into him. Like, what a horrific fate. The only thing that I dislike about him is his feet. He's got these little stumpy feet that look kind of like a Marshmallow Man. I kind of wish he had just claws and he was loads of these arms and claws coming out of him. I can overlook it. You could base it and make it look a bit differently. Apart from that, he looks absolutely menacing. Like at the top here, he has this face that is all this flesh coming over him and like a person going. Really, really imaginative. I very much like him. And of course, D&D wouldn't be complete if you didn't have your heroes as well. So first up, we've got Lomdas, which is this dwarven warrior with a massive hammer. I really, really like him. He's posed in such a way that, again, you could use him in action. He wouldn't look out of place if he's walking through a village, for example. Very, very nice sculpt. And then you get Jarek Svar, and if you're familiar with the previous adventure, he was part of that as well. Again, he looks really interesting. He's got this spell kind of weaving out of him, cape billowing behind him. Both very interesting little heroes and sculpts there. Along with this, you'll also get different tokens that you can print off, which will basically register that you've got different hordes roaming around the city, which is a nice little touch. And if you don't have a 3D printer, you're also going to get that D&D adventure, and you'll get all the different like 2D tokens that you can download and print off in just a traditional printer. So they've kind of got all their bases covered there. The final thing to mention that you can print off as well is you can print off 4 different busts. So if you're maybe not wanting to print off the whole thing and you just want to have a couple of characters that are registered, or maybe have as like a bit of a reward for some of your players afterwards, you can present them with a bust. You can print those off. And again, they're all incredibly detailed. Now, getting these printed was easy as always. They come in 2 different types, so supported and unsupported. Me being lazy, as always, I went for my supported, slapped them all into my slicer, got them off onto the Elegoo Saturn II here, and then just got them printing. They all came off with no problems. They snapped off the supports nice and easy. I didn't even have to use a hot water method for the vast majority of these, so that was a big win there. Once I'd done that, got them all primed and painted. And again, with previous Mammoth Factory stuff that I've done in the past, is there's a really good amount of detail on there. So if you are the kind of painter who wants to really go in there, go wild with the detail, you can do. But if you just want to go for something like I've done, which is more of a lazy thing, didn't take me long to do these, you can do, and the details don't stand out too much, like you've missed a piece. So I really like the way that works. All in all, this was absolutely one of my favorite sets. And obviously I have a massive bias towards undead. I love my undead stuff. But every single thing as part of this set is definitely going to go into my undead army. And there is so much variety in there. And it's all different to other stuff that I've seen before. Obviously, the zombies are relatively similar to other things that you're going to see out there. But it's nice to have a good set of zombies that are just humans that have transformed into, you know, undead. And then all the creative stuff, like the big bones that are sticking out of them and the big blades and everything else, they're saved for the other types of monsters. So if you just want your traditional zombies, you've got them. Too many sculptors out there go wild with just crazy zombies. I like my normal traditional zombies. All in all, an absolutely awesome set. Really enjoyed it. And if you are into D&D adventures, well and truly worthwhile picking up. So thank you very much again to Mammoth Factory Games for sponsoring this video and sending me the stuff over. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know, have you been playing their adventures already? Which one's been your favourite so far? Throw it down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye.